The story begins in a quiet seaside town where nothing really happens, the kind of place that takes 4 hours of train and bus to reach. Suzuki, our main guy, lives here alone after starting college, trying to live a calm, adult life. He works part-time at a small shop, just trying not to mess up his shifts. While he is zoning out, Washio, his coworker, suddenly calls him out and actually praises his work. Suzuki low-key freezes because compliments are rare loot for him. He keeps it simple, thinking it is only because she teaches well, but inside, he is surprised he is not completely failing at life. Then she suddenly asks if he is free after work. Chillbro tries the classic homework escape, but she shuts it down instantly and insists. Next thing he knows, he is on the beach in the evening, wondering how his peaceful life turned into this side quest. And then Washio switches modes completely. The calm work version disappears, and this loud, chaotic version shows up like she has been waiting all day. She decides to celebrate his 1-month anniversary at work with fireworks. Suzuki just stands there, brain buffering, because this personality gap is insane. While she gets excited, he notices the fireworks are not normal. These are the kind that delete your entire weekly budget in seconds. He carefully wonders if she is really okay with that, already imagining her surviving on vibes for the rest of the week. But she treats it like it is normal. Suzuki just stands there, realizing his quiet, boring life might be over. Honestly, bro is not ready. Poor MC starts thinking deeply. Washio is always calm and quiet at work, giving off this mature adult vibe that he actually likes. That composed version of her feels reliable, almost comforting, but right in the next moment, reality breaks that image hard. She suddenly slips on the beach and crashes straight into the cold water. The whole scene turns chaotic in seconds. He buys a 600 yen towel for her. After recovering, she jumps right back into the excitement and starts playing with fireworks, completely hyped. She wants him to join, but Suzuki stays back, choosing peace over potential disaster. She keeps reacting to every spark like it is the best thing ever, fully enjoying the moment while he just watches from a safe distance. She tries to pull him in, thinking being closer would make it more fun, but Suzuki is not convinced at all. In his head, he is seriously questioning if fireworks are even that fun to begin with. His focus is already gone. Meanwhile, she is having the time of her life, confused about how he is not feeling the same energy. When he admits he has never even played with fireworks before, that sounds impossible to her. Suzuki explains his childhood as strict parents. No games, no fun, just study mode 24/7. When she asks what he even played with, his answer goes all the way back to baby-level toys, which honestly sounds illegal at his age. After that, it is just studying to avoid getting scolded. Washio is genuinely shocked because she cannot even sit still for 10 minutes, while this guy basically lives like a disciplined robot. She tries to understand if he hates playing, but Suzuki cannot even answer properly since he has no memories of it. For him, fun is just unknown territory, and that is when Washio decides something on the spot. She grabs a firework, lights it up, and in that glowing moment, she chooses to start making memories from now on, smiling like it is the most obvious thing in the world. Suzuki, after watching her for a bit, quietly asks for one too. She instantly hands him the whole box like an overexcited dealer, offering the most chaotic options possible, but he sticks to something normal because survival comes first. She jokes about being persuasive, but he shuts that down immediately. Still, he admits that being around someone like her actually feels fun, which is probably the biggest character development of his life so far. Time passes, and before they realize it, it is already night. She eagerly asks how his first firework experience was. Suzuki gives the most Suzuki answer ever, focusing on the smell of smoke first, but then admits it was fun, maybe. And that small, awkward honesty hits harder than expected. Washio smiles brightly and opens up a little, revealing that most of her friends have moved away, leaving her lonely lately. Playing with him today actually meant a lot to her, so she asks if they can do this again sometime. Suzuki hesitates a bit, but agrees in his usual calm way, which is more than enough for her to celebrate like she just secured a lifetime contract. As she happily locks in that promise, Suzuki quietly reflects on everything. Washio Miyu, his slightly weird senior at work, somehow becomes his very first real friend, and honestly, he is not sure how to feel about that yet. The next day, everything resets. Washio returns to her calm, emotionless work mode, as if yesterday never happened. She inspects the bathroom Suzuki cleaned and gives him a perfect score with a straight face. But that brief pause makes it feel strangely intimidating. It hits him like a horror moment, and he can't help wondering why it felt so scary. Then, she casually checks if he's free after work again. Suzuki tries to use homework as an excuse, but she shuts it down immediately, making it clear he's still her only option. And just like that, he finds himself back at the beach, realizing this is somehow becoming a routine. This time, Washio pulls out a kendama as if presenting something special. She proudly explains that she carefully chose it as his first toy, while Suzuki struggles to believe this energetic person is the same calm worker from before. After a long pause, he gives a simple response, just enough to pass, clearly relieving her. Without warning, she shows her skill, performing multiple kendama tricks flawlessly with smooth control. Suzuki is genuinely impressed. She makes it look effortless. She then casually admits she used to practice this during exam weeks instead of studying, which makes Suzuki silently question her life choices. Our baddie asks him to try, and Suzuki goes for it and immediately fails. His hand slips, the ball bonks him, and his dignity takes another hit. He apologizes to a toy like it personally attacked. Washio just laughs it off, treating this as normal, explaining that the first time is always like this, and that it is about using the whole body, not just the hands. Meanwhile, Suzuki realizes this simple toy is actually a full skill check. She even steps in to guide him, holding his hand and showing the movement, trying to sync his rhythm properly. But Suzuki decides to grind it out himself and keeps trying again and again. Tap after tap, miss after miss. Nothing works. He gets close for a second, and Washio gets excited, cheering him on, but he suddenly goes quiet. That frustration creeps in again. Even when his form looks fine, it still does not work, and his thoughts spiral. That familiar feeling hits, the idea that he is always clumsy, always messing things up, always causing trouble. His mind drifts back to school, remembering the pressure, the scolding over grades that were not even bad, the constant expectation to be better. He quietly apologizes again, as if it is second nature, and in that moment it is not even about the kendama anymore. It is just him feeling like he is never enough. But Washio suddenly flips the whole mood. Instead of focusing on his mistakes, she hypes him up, seeing his effort as something cool. For her, the fact that he keeps trying to improve is what deserves respect, not the result. Suzuki gets caught off guard by that energy, awkwardly accepting it like he has no idea how to process praise. Then she drops the simplest truth ever. While playing, none of that pressure matters. No overthinking, no past, no expectations, just fun. That is it. She tells him to relax and stop trying so hard, which honestly sounds illegal to someone like Suzuki. So he tries again, but this time calmly. No pressure, no overthinking, and suddenly, it works. Even he looks surprised, like his brain did not expect success to unlock like that. Washio completely loses it. She starts celebrating like he just achieved something legendary, spamming excitement non-stop, while Suzuki just stands there, still processing what just happened. He points out that it took a while, but she does not care. For her, the struggle, the failure, and finally getting it right is exactly what makes it special. That feeling is the whole point. Suzuki gives a small, simple reaction, but this time there is a slight smile, a rare one. Meanwhile, Washio still dances around in pure happiness, fully enjoying the moment like it is her own win too. She immediately wants to show her next trick, already moving to the next level, but Suzuki shuts it down gently, choosing to end things on this victory. At work the following day, Suzuki handles a customer when things suddenly go wrong. The customer asks for delivery, and his brain just freezes. Simple question, but his system crashes instantly. He starts panicking, trying to figure it out on the spot, and it already goes downhill. Right when it is about to turn into a disaster, Washio steps in smoothly and takes over like a pro. She handles everything cleanly, guides the process, and saves the situation without making it awkward. Suzuki just stands there, slightly defeated, but also relieved he did not completely ruin it. After the customer leaves, he apologizes for messing up, but Washio brushes it off like nothing. Then, without wasting time, she invites him out again after work. And just like that, they end up at their usual beach spot again. Like this already became their routine. This time, she brings something new. Paper planes. Suzuki stays confused at first, but she already looks excited, talking about a video she watched and proudly showing her upgraded creation like some high-tech invention. Meanwhile, her previous version did not survive at all, completely crumpled, full of mistakes, basically a fallen soldier. Suzuki quietly finishes his own plane, and when she sees it, she gets genuinely shocked. His folding looks clean, precise, almost perfect. She immediately points out how good he is with his hands, and Suzuki just stands there, not expecting praise for something this random. Honestly, for once, his skills hit different. Suzuki keeps it simple, explaining he just follows instructions and maybe likes making things, since arts and crafts used to be his thing. Washio immediately latches on to that, getting way too excited over the fact he finally admits liking something. For her, this feels like a huge discovery. Suzuki downplays it as useless, but she shuts that down, pointing out it literally helps right now, so they decide to turn it into a competition. Whoever flies their plane, the farthest wins. Washio confidently steps up first, acting like a pro, even flexing about using exam papers for practice back in the day. But the moment she throws it, the plane just skids across the ground and dies instantly. The confidence disappears in seconds. She starts blaming the build quality, like the plane betrayed her, even getting emotional over it. This suddenly becomes way more serious than it should. Suzuki watches and quietly realizes he could probably win even without trying much. But seeing how serious she takes it, he decides to actually focus. Half effort would feel disrespectful, so he gives it a proper throw, and his plane also drops straight to the ground, like it gave up on life midair. And just like that, both of them sit there in silence, accepting the truth. They both suck at throwing. The results look tragic, barely any distance, but somehow Washio still wins by a tiny margin. She celebrates weakly, while Suzuki apologizes again, falling back into that mindset that he is just bad at things, even after getting praised earlier. The confidence he built lasts about 5 minutes. Washio suddenly asks to borrow his plane, reminding him how he helped her before with something she could not reach. For her, it is simple logic. What one person cannot do, the other covers. Instead of struggling alone, they just make up for each other's weaknesses. It sounds way too wholesome for how chaotic she usually acts. Then she takes his plane and throws it properly, and this time, it actually flies. Clean, smooth, gliding through the air like a tiny sparrow. Suzuki just stands there, genuinely surprised, watching it go higher than expected. For a moment, it actually feels perfect until reality hits. The plane starts heading straight toward the sea. Washio panics instantly and rushes after it without thinking. Splash after splash, she runs into the water like this is a rescue mission. She manages to grab it, but the plane comes back completely soaked. She apologizes over and over, feeling bad for ruining it, but Suzuki brushes it off, not really caring about the damage. Now she stands there in a light shirt, completely unbothered, while Suzuki questions how she is not freezing. She casually claims cold never affects her, even in winter. Like her body just ignores basic physics. Suzuki cannot help but doubt that, and she immediately calls him out for it. To prove her point, she steps closer and tells him to feel it himself. Suzuki's brain instantly short-circuits, not even knowing where to look or what to do. Meanwhile, she casually talks about her body heat like it is some kind of aura, which just confuses him even more. At this point, he is not even sure what is happening anymore. As night settles in, Washio stretches and complains about how work drains her, while Suzuki notices she has been taking a lot more shifts lately. He wonders if she saves up for something, and she lights up instantly, excitedly talking about a limited toy release, like it is the event of the year. Clearly, this is her motivation. But then, in a softer moment, she admits the real reason she pushes this hard spending time with him actually makes it worth it. And just like that, she drops something unexpectedly genuine, even blushing a little. Suzuki, of course, fumbles the moment completely and responds in the most dry, NPC way possible, basically ending the conversation like nothing happened. Washio gets annoyed because she just said something nice and he treats it like background noise. Meanwhile, Suzuki realizes he might be getting used to her chaos, but even then, she still catches him off guard in moments like this. For a second, as he looks at her calm smile, something feels different, but it does not last long. The scene shifts back to work. The store feels dead quiet. No customers, no noise, just awkward silence. Washio tries to lighten the mood by suggesting a simple word game, but Suzuki shuts it down immediately, sticking to strict work mode. For him, work means focus, no distractions. Washio accepts it, but the atmosphere turns heavy. She quietly apologizes, agreeing with him, even though it feels like she did nothing wrong. Suzuki repeats that mindset, something drilled into him for years. His father's voice echoes in his mind, always pushing the idea that being useless means no room for rest, no room for fun. Washio notices that shift in him, the way he talks, the way he thinks. It does not sound normal, and for once, she does not brush it off. She questions it, trying to understand what he really means, as the gap between how they see life becomes more clear than ever. Suzuki tries to explain his mindset in the simplest way possible. If someone is not good enough, they just need to work harder. That is it. No shortcuts. Washio finds it way too strict, almost scary, and points out that he does not actually seem like that kind of person. From her view, he greets properly, works carefully, and does things right. Suzuki still downplays himself, bringing up his mistakes like they cancel everything else. Washio pushes back, even joking about how many times she has messed up bread orders herself. For her, mistakes do not erase effort. She honestly wishes he would take more pride in himself instead of constantly putting himself down. That hits Suzuki harder than expected, and for a moment, he just stands there, not knowing how to respond. Then she suddenly switches the mood again and brings back the word game like nothing happened. Suzuki questions the logic, but ends up going along with it anyway. They start playing, going back and forth with random words, slowly filling the quiet store with something light and normal. Somewhere in the middle of it, Suzuki realizes something surprising. This actually feels fun. Then a customer walks in, breaking the moment instantly. Both of them switch back to work mode without missing a beat. But before that, Washio quietly lets him know they will continue later. Suzuki agrees, and as he watches her return to her usual work self, he notices it again. The gap between her work mode and her off-duty self feels huge, like two completely different people. But no matter which version it is, one thing stays the same. Her smile still feels just as warm.